Hey friends, I wanted to play a clip from Brandon House's podcast called Worldview Weekend. He brings up a really good point on how this alien lie, this great deception that they're pushing in the media and have been pushing through Hollywood could potentially be the cover up for the rapture of the church. So I'm going to play that here in a few other clips and then comment at the end.
Tribulation, pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, post-tribulation, meaning when the rapture occurs, before, in the middle, or at the end. Now, again, he's saying, look, the issue for a lot of folks isn't they dispute the rapture, they just dispute when it's going to happen. But here's what's very interesting to me. You're quoting in your presentation this weekend in Appleton, Wisconsin, a New Ager who is consulting a spirit or master guide, which we believe is a demon, clearly. But the demon is going, and she's not the only one, by the way. The demon is going to extra lengths to have an explanation for millions of Christians, millions of people around the world disappearing. Now, if the demon didn't believe in the rapture of believers, why would the demon waste his time convincing her of that? And that's not the only one, because many, many New Agers have already an explanation for the removal of these 20 million people that are just gone. That tells me the demonic world knows there's going to be the rapture of the church.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a counterfeit $3 bill because there's no such thing, as a $3 bill. You only counterfeit, a $1 bill, a $5 bill, a $100 bill, etc., because those are real bills. And so the fact of the matter is that the realm of the demonic would have a counterfeit explanation for a pre-tribulational rapture. I agree with you. It lends credence, to the whole idea. I've heard you, Brandon, quote Alice Bailey in her book, The Coming Synthesis, and here is her quote on the rapture. And, of course, she also received her so-called revelation from a high ascended master. I think the pronunciation of it is Dijwal Kahul. Maybe you could correct my pronunciation on that.
Also known as the Tibetan. I go with the easier.
Oh yeah, that's much better. Mm-hmm. But this higher master, who we believe was a demon, says, quote, and this is in her book, The Seventh Ray of the New Age. This demon apparently said to her, quote, then, after group good will be the dominant note, then separateness and hatreds will fade out, and then men will be merged into a true unity. So I think that, again, is sort of like the quote we gave earlier from Messiniak, that, the problem people disappeared, and they've got to be taken out of the way before we can really reach the next level of planetary evolution.
And so that's going to create a crisis like you can't even imagine. Your presentation was called 1 Second After the Rapture.
Okay, so that was Brandon House and Andy Woods talking about the New Age and demonic deception that the rapture is validated by because of the counterfeit that Satan has. Here is another clip on what Brandon sees as the convergence of all these world events and signs that we're seeing prophetically and how it does point to a pre-tribulational rapture. And here is that clip now.
They're interdimensional. So the reason I bring all this up, I think the timing of everything I've laid out, what's happening in the Middle East, the coalition of nations at the back door of Israel and Syria, Iran, Russia, China, Turkey, the laying of the foundation for the technology and the acceptance of what would later be the mark of the beast, a global system, digital currencies, a one-world economy, a one-world religion, the hatred of Christians, the hatred of Jews, and then you add UFOs. Dr. Woods, how is it all these things are now all happening at the same time? You could have two or three of them, one or two or three, but to have all of these events occurring at the same time, and yet they all fit together for what the Bible describes as coming, and I think the UFOs will be used to maybe be the cover for what happened to all of these people that disappeared in the, quote, rapture, end quote. What say you?
Well, it's interesting over in Luke 21 and verse 11, describing the end of the age. It says there will be great earthquakes in various places, plagues, famines, and then it says there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. Some versions say strange events in the sky. So, what the Bible lays out for us, as you just said, is not just a sign or two, it's convergence. And, of course, the super sign for the end times is Israel's political rebirth in 1948. Without that, the whole end times scenario, doesn't make any sense. But with that super sign in place, then come all of these other signs that you've been speaking of, the Middle East, the cashless society, Gog, Magog, Ezekiel 38 and 39. And I think what you're describing here with UFOs and extraterrestrials, or as you described them, things from other dimensions, to me it fits with Luke chapter 21, verse 11. And so it just fits this theme of convergence, where everything is coming together simultaneously. And as we like to say, when you see Christmas trees and Santa Claus and snowflakes and Christmas music on the radio, you know that Thanksgiving is near because Thanksgiving precedes Christmas on the calendar. And so that's the right way to look at it. As the world stage is being set for the tribulation, we learn that the rapture, cannot be far away.
Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you guys. Clearly, the rapture is pre-trib. Clearly, the rapture is the next event on God's timeline, and we are to expect that the alien deception will be one of the lies, one of the delusions that God sends, and the Antichrist will tell the world. And so I just pray that this is a blessing to you. I will include some links to Brannon's website and to that specific podcast so you can listen to the entirety of that there. God bless and Maranatha.